has been your week? Sure, it was great, because mine was. This is the voice of Auntie Irene. It's a bright Saturday morning, 16th of April, 2023. And the time is 9:19 a.m. We are sorry for coming up late. The network is a little bit challenging this morning. And Auntie Tanya is right here with me.
Hello, children. Welcome to KTS.
Today we'll be taking you on a journey through an interesting topic: having the right attitude. Having the right attitude. You can be a part of the show when our phone line will be open and win fantastic prizes for yourself. The number to call is 081 8952 4666. 081 8952 4666. Enjoy the song. Is going to hold me down. Nothing is going to hold me down by Creative Trio. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're on to Kids and Teens Show on Lagoon Radio. Our topic of discussion today is having the right attitude. Having the right attitude. Now, what's an attitude? An attitude is the way you think and feel about someone or something. Do you know you can exhibit the right attitude, likewise the wrong attitude?
Yes, it is possible. Let us talk about the right attitude first. The right attitude is one that is good and acceptable both by moral and social standards. Let's journey together through the story of Daniel and his friends who portrayed good attitude, as Sister Irene reads some of the verses in Daniel chapter 1 for us.
Okay. Daniel chapter 1. Okay, let me begin from verse 2. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with some of the vessels of the house of God. And he brought them to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God, and placed the vessel in the treasury of his gods. Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to bring some of the people of Israel, both of the royal family and of the nobility, youths without blemish, handsome and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, and competence to serve in the king's palace, and to teach them the letters and language of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the rich food which the king ate, and of the wine which he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years, and at the end of that time they were to stand before the king. Among these were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah of the tribe of Judah. And the chief of the eunuchs gave them names. Daniel he called Belshazzar, Hananiah he called Shadrach, Mishael he called Meshach, and Azariah he called Abednego. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's rich food or with the wine which he drank. Therefore he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to defile himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief of the eunuchs. Then Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of eunuchs had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who ate the king's rich food be observed by you. At the end of the 10 days, it was seen that they were better in appearance and fatter in flesh than all the youths who ate the king's rich food. So the steward took away their rich food and the wine they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. Verse 17. As for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all letters and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams.
Wow. Thank you, Auntie Irene. In the passage read, we can also call the king's food maybe the king's treat. All this happened just because someone or some people were able to be right, to do things the right way. In the passage read, Daniel and his 3 friends exhibit the following right attitude. And the first we'll be considering is contentment. Auntie Irene, can you say that with me? Contentment.
Maybe I should even spell it for them.
All right, thank you.
Contentment is spelled C-O-N-T-E-N-T-M-E-N-T. Contentment. C-O-N-T-E-N-T-M-E-N-T.
Wow, contentment. So what is contentment? Contentment is a feeling of happiness and satisfaction in what you have, or what I have, or what we have. It simply means that we should not be bothered with what we don't have. Children, exactly. Are you listening? That's the meaning of contentment. Just don't be bothered about it, but make ourselves happy with what we have till God gives to us other things when they are needed. Just like the Bible says that godliness with contentment is great gain. 1 Timothy 6, verse 6. There are some children who do not show contentment with what they have. They always crave, want other people's stuff, people's things. They don't prefer theirs. They don't like their own. They just always like the other person's maybe food, toy, storybook, and so on. Some of these people compare themselves with others. But Daniel and his friends never craved for what they wouldn't have. You say, Auntie Tayo, what do you mean they wouldn't have it, but the king just offered them a treat? Yes. In fact, they had to check first, and that is where contentment comes from. Yes, they are even offered. This was offered to them, but they did not jump on that offer. They check within themselves. They check with God first before saying yes, before saying they accept. In fact, by the time they checked with the Lord, it was a no. By the time they checked within themselves, it wasn't a going area. So, some of us will say, what a good idea. Everyone is offered such food. But Daniel and his friend knew that though it's an opportunity to eat what the king is offering, but they wouldn't, because they had to stand with God. And they wouldn't let the king's food defile them. You say, what is defile? Auntie, what is defile now? Auntie means something that contaminates, something that stains, something that spoils. Their heart is so pure that they wouldn't want to put anything that is not of the Lord in it. So they chose, after checking inside of them, not to eat the king's food. You say, Auntie, what do you mean by they check? The Bible said, Auntie Irene, where you read, says that they proposed in their hearts. They did not just open their mouth and say, hey, it's the king's food.
They decided.
Yes, they checked. They first quickly, in their mind, they spoke with the Lord. They checked whether that food is right for them. So how are they able to know? Because they checked. This resulted in them asking for just vegetables. When Auntie Irene was reading, there's a vegetable. And I don't like vegetable. Some of us, we say that when they give us vegetable, no, mommy, remove the peas. Remove the lettuce. Yes, from the salad. I don't want it. But the Bible says that these people ate only vegetables and water. Water, they did not say the vegetable is okay, but we'll eat vegetable, but make sure you give us the wine. No, they did not say give us juice, malt, or look for alternative of ice cream. No, they asked for just vegetable and water. Despite the good looking and very tasteful offer of the king. What an interesting topic. We'll be going on a short break now. And when we are back, we are still talking on contentment.
Yes, you're welcome back. That song is God's Love is So Wonderful by Bola Info Bells. Sorry about that. Don't forget you're still onto Kids and Teens show here on Lagoon Radio. From the story of Daniel and his friends, we could see that it's not hard to do what is right. So, we have talked about contentment. Now let's talk about a few more right attitudes. For example, we have exercising self-control. Exercising self-control. Now, what is self-control? Self-control is being able to resist immediate temptations in order not to do things without thinking. That is, you will not do anything careless or things you will regret. You have to be what? Patient. You have to control yourself. So you'll be able to resist temptations. You first of all think, hold yourself. No, I don't need this thing now. I can't fall into it. Another one is studying and learning. Studying and learning is an attitude to imbibe. Yes, so we can be the best. For example, maybe you in your school, after your teacher has finished teaching, you don't go back to what you've been taught. No, you go back to it. So you become a master in it. Once you go back, you start remembering those things your teacher have said. And at the end of the day, you even become perfect in it. And when exam comes, you'll be able to write without, giraffing or looking for who will tell you the answer.
All right. We have talked about contentment. We've talked about exercising self-control. We've talked about studying and learning. And the next one is love. Love is another right attitude that we must imbibe. Love, that song we heard the other time says God is love. And we talked about God's love. How do we show we love God if we don't love those we see around us? In fact, God makes people loves us more. People see the things we do and it draws them to Christ. And how do we love God? We love God by showing to people the things we know that is right about God. God wouldn't appreciate us lying. God wouldn't want us stealing. So when we display all those things that we shouldn't do, once we show to people that we don't do them, we don't fight, we don't abuse, we don't look for other people's downfall. Instead, we look for a way to encourage and work with them. That is how to show love to people around us. And the word popping up in all we have been talking about today is do it right. Again, do it right. So I'm sure because of Christ that we have in us, we know what is right. Do what is right at all times. So when people do not exhibit right attitude, automatically they exhibit the wrong attitude.
Yes.
And yes, it is called the wrong attitude because attitude is either right or wrong. Bad attitude are the acts that are morally wrong and displeasing to God and man. So much that when people see such acts, they can only wonder why people do such a thing.
Okay. Like you said, wrong attitudes, they are bad attitudes. And these acts, when exhibited by a person, are not morally or socially acceptable. We'll go on a short break now. Make sure you're still tuned. And when we come back, we'll be having our guest in the house. I'm sure you want to know who the person is. So stay tuned. That song is sung by, it's a collection of Christian songs for kids, and it's titled Obedience. You're welcome back. Now we have our guest in the house. Our phone lines are open. You can call in to win fantastic prizes. We already have our guest here with us, and his name is the Reverend Canon Sunday Ogundikpe. Don't forget the numbers to call is 081 8952 4666. 081 8952 4666. So you are welcome to the Kids and Teens Show on Lagoon Radio.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning and God bless you.
Yes, sir. Sir, please, can you tell us more about yourself?
Once again, I thank you for bringing me here this morning. I'm Reverend Canon Sunday Ogundikpe. Presently, I serve at St. Peter's Church, Faji, as an assistant priest. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Now, the topic we discussed today is having the right attitude. Now, most times there are things that children do, they might think it is right, and sometimes they know it's wrong, but they just want to try luck. So I don't know. Kindly shed more light on our topic for today, having the right attitude.
Thank you. Every one of us as human, we have our own attitudes. And likewise the children. Attitude is just an approach to situation around us. How we feel when things happens around us. And so there is nobody without an attitude. But as you said, right attitude simply means having positive reactions at all times. When there are challenges, when you have something to do, when you have decisions to make, taking the right steps at the right time, that is what right attitude is all about. Seeing some things that could be distraction to you, but being who you are as someone with right attitude, you always see something positive, and that is what you pursue. That is what you make to be your ambition in everything you do. So if someone is having that kind of attitude, such is what we call right attitude.
Okay, sir. Now, is there any reward for portraying the right attitude?
Definitely there is rewards. Not just a reward, there are numerous rewards for pursuing right attitude. When you possess right attitude, the first I would like to mention is that it gives you positive mind. Whatever you do, the outcome will always be positive. Another thing is that with your right attitude, you will overcome all barriers. Because when you are looking at some difficulties, because you have right attitude, you won't see them at all. And that was what happened in the case of the spies. When Moses sent them to spy the land, they all went, and when they came back, only 2 of them had what we called right attitude. They told Moses, we can go and we conquer. And they went. And the Bible tells us that those were the 2 people that eventually got to the promised land. Yeah. So your right attitude will remove barriers from you. It gives you confidence, it gives you boldness, and it makes you to approach issues at the best way that will give you the best outcome. These are the rewards and the benefits that you can get when you have right attitudes.
Thank you so much, our Reverend Canon Sunday Ogundikpe, who is our guest for today. Children, we are still expecting your call, and the number to call is 081-8952-4666. 081-8952-4666. Sir, in your definition of right attitude, you said having positive reaction at all times. And you just gave us samples of what the reward of right attitude should be, or mostly are. So if we have right attitude, that means we have consequences of not having right attitude. Can you tell us some of them?
Definitely. You see, when we have bad attitude, remember I said that right attitude will make you to think positively. So when someone is having a bad attitude, the first thing is failure. It will rob you of all the good ideas that you have. You won't consider anything positive to do because your approach to it is not the best. Then it makes you to become so careless, even about your life. People will now see you as someone who is very complacent to matters that are something you should have achieved. It will equally lead to poor performance. You won't have self-motivation. There will be lack of self-motivation. Such person will become visionless. And I want to sum it up that everything good with bad attitude, it will turn them to failure and disappointment without any achievement. Nobody can achieve anything with wrong attitude.
Wow. So you are saying that it is likely for some people to have right attitude and they will even not be recognized at all? Are you saying that?
When someone has right attitude, it's just like we liken a right attitude person with somebody. Bible says a light cannot be hidden. There is no way you have right attitude that you will not be recognized. Because people will know, once I get to this person, if it is in form of counseling, advice, I am so sure once you just get to this person, there will be way out for you. So people will recognize you, they will know who you are, and they will always want to be associated with you, knowing fully well that with you on their side, anything humanly possible is achievable. So they will recognize you.
So, sir, it is scary to hear the consequence that you have listed so far. Failure, no achievements, and it is scary. So is it possible for anyone that is having a bad attitude to change? Is it possible to change our wrong attitude to right?
Thank you very much. It's very, very positive and very, very possible. See, once you have identified some certain things about yourself, the best thing, if you're a wise person, is to look inward. Why are these happening to me? Then, once it is discovered that I have not been approaching issues in the right attitude, then you need to change. So it's possible to change. Some people change from being wayward to become a matured and a righteous person. And whatever we do in life, as we see it, it depends on our own attitude towards it. So once you have discovered yourself that you are not getting the best that you desire, then you need to change your attitude. A student will go to school and want to pass and succeed, and it's not reading, following friends all about, and he's discovered that he's not getting the best performance that he desires. So the best thing is to stop and then begin to read. So attitudes can be changed.
All right, thank you, sir. Lastly, I will be asking, what will be your advice to you have told us that we can change our attitude. So what can be your advice in a nutshell to the parents to teachers or maybe to the children on the topic having the right attitude?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want all parents, all children to know that success in life depends on your attitudes towards the events around you. So if you want to be successful in life, you must have right attitude. Again, whatever you do in life, be positive. Have a right mentality that you can achieve it. Don't say anything that's impossible. Always have right approach to issues around you. Don't confess anything negative to yourself. And once you are doing this, I can assure you with God on your side that you move mountains. You will become what God wants to become. You will achieve your purpose in life, and you will become a great person in life.
Wow. It's been a very fulfilling short time with you, sir. We've learned a lot of things. Said we should depend solely on God to have the right attitude. We should be mindful of our company from what you said. We should not be discouraged. And you have told us bad attitude will always lead to failure. And I'm sure that we don't want to fail as children. Thank you so much, Reverend Canon Sunday Ogudikpe. Auntie Irene.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We are really happy to have you on our show with us.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. And please, we are still waiting. I think the network is really bad. So we hope to see you next week, or to hear from you rather. And I'm sure you've actually enjoyed the show today, because I did. I learned a lot. And Auntie Taya, I'm sure you also learned a lot, right?
A lot. The Reverend Canon had really even opened my mind to things that I did not even consider before coming.
Exactly. So we have come to the end of today's show on Kids and Teens show on Lagoon Radio. Don't forget to tune in same day, same time next week. And also tell your friends so they too can be a part of the show. We are sorry for those that tried calling in. The network wasn't really friendly today. And don't forget that our word for today is
Do it right.
Can we say it again?
Do it right.
Yes. Don't forget, wherever you find yourself, always propose in your heart to do what is right. So
we see you next week. We love you all. Please stay safe and
bye.
bye.